live. This is the Finance Pastor, and we are going to be discussing the top 10 growth stocks for 2025. Barron's usually projects a group of stocks that they usually pick. Last year's pick generated about an 11.4%. We're going to be looking at another form of 10 stocks. Some of them are similar, some of them you've already known, but these are my top 10 stocks for 2025. Number one is going to be Tesla. Number two is going to be Palantir. Number three, Royal Caribbean. Number four, Amazon. Number five, Google. Number six, DraftKings. Number seven, Apple. Number eight, Netflix. Number nine, Nvidia. And number 10, Rivian. So as we look forward to 2025, I'm excited of what's going to transpire in the stock market. The people have spoken. We have elected President Donald Trump, and I'm believing that we are going to have a phenomenal year in investing. You could call it whatever you want to call it. He could wave his magic wand, but I believe that the next 4 years are going to be one of the most important times for investing for the average person. I'm not a licensed CPA and I'm not a licensed financial advisor, but what I am is a person just like you who done study and research, and I could see what the economy is doing. Some of you may be thinking to yourself, I don't know much about stocks. Well, you start looking from a perspective of what do you drive? What products do you enjoy? If you're married, what does your spouse enjoy? If you have children, what do they enjoy? You never know like what's in your home or where do you love to shop, that 5 out of 10 of those products are publicly traded. And as you start looking, delving deeper, whether you feel like God is giving you a specific gift where you understand an industry very well, that's a way where you can learn how to invest in the stock market, especially if you are understanding industry very well. And no matter where you're placed in life, I think there's always something that you can learn from where you're at and even investing opportunities. One of the biggest stocks that I'm bullish on is really Tesla. Now, you have to look at where the money is flowing in Washington, D.C. With Donald Trump being the president elect and soon to be president, you have to look at where the money's flowing. Elon Musk, he is the Tom Edison of our day. You have to understand that. And I believe that if you look at technology, his stock is really underpriced, even though the stock has taken a hit over the last few days. The stock is currently at 403 in that price range. And I believe that the next few months, the stock will be over the 515 mark. In my opinion, and this is personal opinion, I believe that stock is going to go to 850, probably in the $1,500 range, dependent on what happens with uh, growth, Starlink, SpaceX, a lot of all these other things that are really in Tesla's portfolio, other than just the electric driving vehicle. Now, to me, Tesla is more than just an electric driving vehicle. It's much more than that. And I believe that with Trump being in power and that there's a derivative of contracts, derivative of technology that will be in place. So you have to look at it that way. Palantir is another reason why you got to follow the money. The money's going through Mark Andreessen, Peter Thiel, all these venture capitalists that have been bullish on the Trump front. These are people that are going to be benefit, whether you like it or not. There's people that benefit from one presidential candidate winning. It is what it is. Yeah, you can say that it's not fair, and for some they may feel that way. But what I do is I look at where the money's moving. And instead of me trying to be a leader, I just follow where the money's going, and you can invest that way. So I want to take a couple of looks at a couple of stocks. But as you're looking forward towards 2025, you have to see that your dollar is very precious. This is a $1 bill. On this dollar bill, George Washington is on it. Now, over 200 years ago, George Washington, he fought for our personal freedom. Everything that we enjoy in the United States, it's because of George Washington's leadership. Now, he's been gone and passed away for over 200 years. But what you know what I want to know now, that George Washington, he's still alive. in our $1 bill. And I always have this riddle that I keep in my mind, in my forefront when I go to invest. I only want to set George Washington free if he comes back with two or three. You just have to know where to set him free. And as we look at these stocks today, we're going to be looking at where you can invest your money. Some of these stocks are high price dollar stocks, and some of these are middle of the road where you can still get in, even if you're working at a minimum wage. There's certain stocks here that maybe you can use as a growth magnet. And we focus mostly on stocks, even though I do trade options. I like mostly focusing on stock because of the equity position that I love. It's like owning a rental home, it's owning like a piece of property or business. It's something that you can really hang your hat upon. So one of the things we want to look at, I want to share my screen. And we're going to be looking at Yahoo Finance. And here we're going to be looking at just Tesla. Right now is currently at 403. It has had a huge drop over the last about 2 to 3 weeks. Really, it's done a range of about 60 to 87, $80 in that range of up and down. So for all you people who've been trading this and been patient, I mean, this is either a place where you can buy this stock at a discount, and for me, is you're finding a lot of institutional buyers that, in my opinion, are driving this stock down in order to get back in the game. I believe this stock still has the potential to double, even if you're buying at the $500 range. Believe this stock is bullish only because, like I mentioned earlier, to me, Elon Musk is the Tom Edison of our day. And we look at that. We look at, let's look at some other companies here. Let's look at some research here. Let's look at actually Google is one stock I want to look at. But let's look at Palantir for a second, go in order that I went. So Palantir is an interesting stock here. Now, you have mostly Nvidia is the front runner in the AI space right now. They're years ahead, especially with this Blackwell chip. But Palantir is one of those is you got to follow the money. They just been added to the S&P, and since they've been added to the S&P, this stock has literally skyrocketed. It's doubled. If you're looking to buy from a valuation perspective, and there's certain stocks here that the PE ratio is not going to be the best. You're not buying on PE ratio. You're really buying on where the money's going and where the money's moving, and it is moving to technology. And Palantir is one of those that I believe are going to benefit from contracts, government contracts that are coming. That's the thing you have to look at is where the money is going. And there's certain growth stocks that were good, but now they're not going to have the same amount of growth because you almost tap out unless they're acquiring other companies. And but for me, Palantir is one of those companies that really just does. For me, it just does so much. So much for technology that I think it'll just keep growing. Another one here that in this space, I know it has had a run up, and many people are saying, "Why are you pointing this stock?" This stock has really just had a huge growth over the last year or so, and Royal Caribbean has doubled in the last year. Why do I think there's still room for growth? Right now, if you look at it from a PE ratio, this is still you're buying a fairly valued stock. Right now, the trailing PE ratio, trailing 12-month is about 23.89. Still, this is one of the stocks from a PE ratio number standpoint. To me, I'm bullish on Royal Caribbean. Why? Many people who don't like Carnival cruises are not gonna go there. You start seeing videos that we've seen in the summer of last year's of just parties going wrong in different companies like a in a Carnival Cruise Lines, and Royal Caribbean has just been benefited from a lot of that, and they cater more to a more, let's say, middle class type of crowd. So very that's kind of, you have people, you look at it as a neighborhood. You look at it where you shop, and kind of this is like the middle of the road, like a Target, a Target. So this is a company, Royal Caribbean, that I'm looking at, which is on my bullish stocks. Let's go next to Amazon, AMZN. And Amazon, I really believe that this stock right here, Jeff Bezos has done such a great job with Amazon. This is on the higher end of the PE ratio spectrum, is at a 46, and is just technology. Amazon is one of the few people, kind of like eBay, that is just is a wholesaler. And what they have done, Jeff Bezos have done, is he's really expanded the business where they have services from just from Amazon, just the technology, the cloud services, AWS. It's one of those stocks that really, really is doing phenomenal, and it's one that I would say is should be on your buy list for 2025. And definitely, we're gonna look at these stocks at the end of the year, see if I was correct there, and I'll go from there. Google, I am. I know Google has gotten beat up a little bit, but Google for me is Alphabet is one of those stocks that I believe is going to keep growing. Even at a PE ratio of 25, I think this company is going to do well. Now, here's my take on Google, and let me get out this screen for this. With Google, is there's so many things, there are many things that people are against Google. You start seeing that the Justice Department is looking towards Google to kind of break up their Chrome monopoly. But you look at other stuff, Google has really invested wisely in a lot of different things. You think of it, they own YouTube, which is they own the top two search engines in the country, like with Chrome and YouTube, top two search engines. But they have expounded on a lot of the technology, from cloud services to many computing services. But one of the biggest thing is the robo taxi. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Phoenix, and if you guys live in Phoenix, or anyone that lives in Phoenix understands that there's a company called Waymo. Waymo is basically, they have it really down packed with the robo taxi. I took a ride with a driverless vehicle, which was so freaking cool and scary at the same time. So it's one of those things that I look at like, whoa, this is really, we're living. When I was a kid, we used to watch the Jetsons growing up, but companies like Waymo are really making that dream a reality, or those things that we thought were just far-fetched really a very feasible thing. And Waymo is part of Google's network of companies that they invest in, is really, really one that I am bullish on. I believe that Google will come out better once all this DOJ stuff. I think is a lot of it is they just gonna work with the next administration. So Google, I believe this company is doing phenomenal. Also, their AI products, from Python to some of the newer ones that they're working on, I believe Google is going to be on top of it, and really they're moving forward. Their PE ratio actually is really good from a valuation standpoint. If you're a value investor, if you're watching this, you're saying, yeah, you know the PE ratio is fairly valued. You're not buying it way too high like some of the other companies that I do have here, but it's one of those companies that you really, really, really will enjoy and have that on a long-term perspective in your portfolio. So Google definitely is one that I would definitely go with. And let's go on and keep looking at some other stuff here. Google, next one is one that I don't really. This is gonna be a weird one because I don't really gamble, but you have to you have to really look at what technology is doing and what people are investing in. So this one is DraftKings is a stock that I'm looking at. when you have a no PE ratio or negative, usually a company's losing money. So most companies that when they start out lose money, you kind of have that with Amazon. Basically, every company, especially technology, eBay was one of those few companies that were profitable as soon as they started. But these are companies that, with the economy, in my opinion, with the Donald Trump bump, I believe the economy is going to go up. More people are going to be looking into gambling and making money this way. I know a lot of people that they make extra income, and I'm talking about from $300 to about $1,000 extra income a month just by placing bets on DraftKings. So this is a very, very, to me, it's another way how to, it's like a cryptocurrency type of investing, but it's basically you're betting. I mean, it's kind of like trading. You're looking at companies. So on sports teams, you're looking at that. DraftKings to me would be one of those companies I would have in my portfolio. And then one of my favorites, Apple. 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 Apple on a PE ratio standpoint is a little overvalued. Right now it's at 250. Apple has second most stockpile of cash right now. So Apple really is one of those companies that where their services is from iTunes. You I mean that's we were lucky to have Steve Jobs doing during our era. Excuse me. We were lucky to have Steve Jobs during our era, and just how he built iTunes and really left the company with a profitable business model. Can Apple keep it up? I'm hoping so that Tim Cook will work well with the Trump administration. I like Tim Cook. He's a Southern Alabama dude, so I believe Tim Cook has good values. It's there's certain things that I believe he should change, but I think we all evolve as we get older, and hopefully they can work things out. And another one, my favorite is Netflix. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a drink of water. Netflix. This stock has gotten beat up over the last few weeks, almost like a Tesla. This stock, I believe, is a $1,200 stock. Why do I believe that? In my opinion, you have to look at cable television is changing. You're gonna start seeing a lot of live sports venues being broadcasted on Netflix, and Netflix, to their credit, I want to say that Netflix has always been innovative in how they approach technology. You think of it, Netflix try to try to sell themselves to Blockbuster. I mean, many of entrepreneurs know that story, and luckily Blockbuster did not buy them because now Netflix. I mean, basically they bankrupted Blockbuster, but Netflix, I believe, has taken that teaching and really has have kept innovating with technology. So Netflix is one of those companies that really it's a good company long term. Again, higher PE ratio if you're buying from a value standpoint. But long term, this is where long term investing, can you take a $891 stock and just put some cash, park it there, and let it grow to 1200? It's kind of one of those stocks that I like, and it's one of those that I think many people would agree that this is a good stock. Nvidia, this is part of the Magnificent Seven. Uh, Again, this stock has gotten beat up over the last few months. Many people have been investing in this stock, so it's driven up the price on this stock. I still think there's room for this to grow. I believe if the Blackwell chip does really well, I really believe that this stock could go to about 200. Again, this stock did a stock split. So this is the one thing that I have with stocks that do stock splits. Generally, and this is a general, question. Stocks that do stock splits generally go back to the price where they split from in 3 to 5 years. So if you are a long-term investor and you look at this stock at 134 and say, hey, in 3 to 5 years it'll be 1,000, to me that's a great investment. To me, that's a great investment. You put $134 a share. And if you have long term growth, knowing that you're going to park this stock for 3 to 5 years, to me, and knowing that a stock will go, I would just leave money in stocks like this. Now, I love this stock. I'm invested in this stock. So I believe it's done well for me. So another one that I want to look at, which is our last one, is Rivian. And many people are going to be surprised that I mentioned this one. So Rivian is, some people will be surprised that I mentioned this one because they like, don't you love Tesla? Well, yeah, I do. I love Tesla more than Rivian, but I'm also looking at what uh, what my eyes see and what investments see. So for those of you that live in Seattle and New York City, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you start looking at many of the Amazon vehicles, many of them in those cities are electric vehicles. Most of those vehicles, pretty much the majority of them, 90% come from Rivian. I believe that as Amazon keeps growing, they're going to be buying more vehicles from Rivian. And I believe that if you start looking at Q2, Q3, Q4 earnings in 2025, I believe the stock is going to go up. This is an assumption. I believe the stock will double. So if you think of it as a $13 stock, a $13 stock, you take one or two lattes and you stop drinking coffee for a week, you buy a stock like this, it'll double in a year, in my opinion. So these are stocks that I look at and say, okay, if I was investing, would this be a stock I would have? And the answer is yes. Now you have to know what you're investing in. You understanding that this is not a forever stock. This stock also is not making money like most technology stocks because Tesla for a long time lost money. So this is the things with these type of companies. Now, if they buy more, if we start seeing that companies like Amazon buy more fleet vehicles, this is where this company is going to see growth. So those are the things that I look at when I'm investing in stock. And I'm looking at stock and I'm looking at growth. I'm looking at, okay, what could a stock do? What can this stock go? And that's why I look at like many companies. And then we haven't even talked about ETFs and some of my favorite ETFs. I love trading the SPY. I love trading the diamonds and the QQQ and the Russell 2000. Those are my top four. If I was to edge in a smaller one ETF, maybe the Jets, JETS. I do like the New York Jets, but the actual ticker symbol, it's like a $25 stock that if you're looking for like 2 to 4, $3 growth, something like that, that you kind of don't want to rock the boat too much, that would be one that I would look at. But I am really bullish on 2025. I believe with the Trump administration, we are going to see some of the biggest movements in the stock markets ever seen in our lifetime. I believe that the S&P 500 will be at 7,000. Mark my words, over 7,500 actually. I believe the S&P will finish this year. Why? Because of growth. Many people are afraid of tariffs. I wouldn't be afraid of it. I would be more looking towards what American companies benefit from these tariffs. And that's where you have to look at is, are some of these companies that are saying they're going to get tariff, are they going to move their products into the United States, which meaning either opening up more jobs or maybe just creating more for the economy, or many of you here are entrepreneurs at heart. Many of you may see a need, whether it could be in manufacturing, whether it could be in technology, whether it could be in automotive, whether it could be in the HVAC space, electrical, plumbing, whatever space it may be. Many of those entrepreneurs are going to find problems that no one else can solve. Many of you are going to be able to start businesses that way. So I look at these tariffs not as a whoa, even though we are a global market, but I look at it as a way where many Americans can either fulfill those entrepreneurial dreams that they've always had and that they can move their family forward. I believe that 2025 is a year of moving your family forward. Many of you are really family focused, like myself. My wife and I, we're homeschoolers, and we believe in really taking control of our finances so we can affect our next generation. And as we look towards 2025, many of you are going to have so many aha moments and see that those dreams and visions that haven't been fulfilled yet, many of you are going to see those dreams come to pass. So we look at as January 1st, today's the first day of the year, is starting off strong, starting off with everything that you wrote down in your goals you're going to accomplish. What kind of books are you reading this year? What are the top 3 or 5 books that you wanting to read this year? How do you want to grow? And that's where you start getting better in 2025. For you guys, for myself, I have so many goals I want to reach, so many investment goals I want to reach. What are some of your investment goals that you want to reach? And as we grow together, many of you want to say, I want to be part of what you're doing. Follow on our Discord channel and put all the details on the description. And we will love for you to click the subscribe button and share with your friends. We're going to be having so many good details this week and this year. The stock market, in my opinion, is primed for a bullish movement. Many people expect a downturn, but I don't think there's going to be a downturn. In my opinion, I know some of you are not religious here, but God's hand is on Donald Trump. And I believe that his favor of God is upon him in the next 4 years. We're going to see a demonstration of what favor looks like. That is my opinion. In the next 4 years, we're going to see the demonstration of what favor looks upon a person. And God's favor is on Donald Trump. So mark my words, it's recorded. I believe this is going to happen. And I'm praying for the next administration. Many people who are watching this are family people that really like you love America. You are patriotic like myself and like many others. And we believe in moral decency. Moral decency is a way a country thrives. Any country that loses its moral sensitivity is a country that decays. And I believe with a person in charge, a man like Donald Trump, our moral decency will be once again reignited, and we will be the city, the light on the top of the hill, like for many beacon of truth and hope. And as long as we stay humble and understand and recognize that it is God's hand upon this nation that are keeping us solvent and are keeping us healthy and keeping us intact, is because God's mighty hand. So as you look towards this year, 2025, those goals that you have written down, let's go work on those. Let's go follow those dreams and visions that haven't been fulfilled, because only you are the only person that can make the change. You can pray and you can hope all you want about change, but nothing's ever going to happen unless you take a step. You can wish all you want. You can vision cast all you want. You can pray all you want. But if you don't take action, nothing will ever change. You can't expect doing the same thing and expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. So stop doing the things that have taken you to a place that have never benefited you. It's a new year. It's a way to clean up. It's a new slate for many of you. And I'm believing that 2025 is going to be the year that you should prosper. I'm believing that 2025 is going to be the year that your family moves forward, and the year 2025 where you start living the truth that God has given you, speaking the word that God has given you, and relaying the message that God has deposited inside of you. So I'm looking forward. I look forward. This is the Finance Pastor again. Until next time.